world of football is, I wouldn't say it's normal, because all of a sudden
it's never been normal, is it? It's absolutely bonkers.
I am joining you live from my bar.
Oh wow.
But potentially could be worth it for 30 goals a season.
Hello, my name is Roshan, and thank you for joining us on In 20. Don't forget, all our highlights are on our Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram page. Danny, it's good to see you back at home. Last week you were out somewhere stalking people in Stoke. People like to stalk football managers. Antonio Conte, once deemed by a certain former United legend, not good enough, or no, I'll change that. Wasn't meant to be a United manager, has been making waves. We have seen what he's done in Italy with Siena, getting them promotion into the Serie A. We saw what he did with Juventus, Chelsea, Inter Milan, and he's not good enough for Manchester United, but he's good enough for Tottenham. What are the changes he's made?
I think obviously organisation, work rate. It's ever really since that Burnley game where that very strange interview after the game, he came out and said, "Oh, I'm not sure if this is right for me. I'm not sure how much more I can do," and all those times. It was very, very strange, wasn't it? That interview. It was always a little bit confusing. Since then, they've gone on a fantastic run. But I think he's about intensity, hard work, organisation, and when you mix that with talented players, that's really all it comes down to. You compare that, like you just said, to Manchester United, disorganised. The players don't seem to want to buy into what they're doing and work hard, and then you get sort of a disorganised ramble.
So that interview, right? Could it have been a way of where he's gone about and said, you know what, I'm not good enough for this team. The players are there, but it's not me. And that actually shifted the pressure from him to the football players and into the owner. And then he got results. Is that a good example of man management in a different kind of way, different from Jurgen Klopp?
Yeah, I think he put the onus on the player and say, well, look, I'm doing everything I can here. If you're not going to do what I want you to do, and you're not going to buy into what I'm doing, I can't do any more for you. So it's up to you. If you're not going to change, and if you're not going to, start doing the things that I want you to do, I'll walk away, and you'll end up with a lesser manager, a manager that's not as good, as him. And all of a sudden, they've always had good players there. We know that the quality of players is incredibly high, but for whatever reason, the organisation levels, the effort levels, they weren't quite there. But suddenly now they've got to the stage where, they all know what they're doing. There's a clear plan, a clear way of playing, and the result yesterday was like, wow, a fantastic result.
If there's some places to improve for Tottenham under Conte, where would they lie?
I still think defensively, they can work on that and they can improve in that area. The front players are superb. We know that the way that they play, the intensity that they play at, the way that Kane plays, like the Son plays. And if you're going to go to next level, you've got to look at the centre half positions and go, right, okay, if you're really going to challenge for Champions League, you're going to challenge for the league title, you probably need some really good, top quality defenders in there. And that's really about it. You're only talking 2 or 3. You're not talking much more than that. So it's very, very possible.
Okay, you were talking about the players up front for Tottenham. There's Harry Kane, there's Son Heung-min. So my question, and I've always asked this of you, either on the show or just personally via text, whenever I watch him play, you've got the likes of Adama Traore playing for Barcelona, right? And you've seen what he has done for Tottenham, as in Son Heung-min. For you, who is a better player?
Oh, Son, without a shadow of a doubt. Traore can be in and out at times. Yes, fantastic, but he's not as consistent as he needs to be. To be a top class player, he has those games where you go, "Wow, unplayable, unbelievable," and then he has a few that are going, "Oh, where's he gone? He's gone missing." Son is just brilliant every single week. You think even in that period, a couple of years back when Kane was missing for a while, and he carried them, through that period. He just seems like almost a perfect player. That he's not going to step out of line. He works incredibly hard. He seems like a really nice guy. It's like, but he doesn't maybe get the plaudits that he deserves for that. I struggle to find fault in his game or his personality or where's the weakness? Where's the downside to Son? I don't think there is one. But it's strange that he maybe doesn't quite get the recognition that I think his performances and his numbers deserve.
And that's always baffled me, right? You look at all the money being spent globally for football players, especially in Europe. Let's focus with Europe. And you see this player in and out, week in, week out, season in, season out for about 3-4 years now. Would you say he's one of the best in the Premier League?
Yeah, definitely.
And he's never linked to the likes of Real Madrid or Barcelona or even Juventus. Is there a particular reason for you?
It's maybe because he doesn't have the razzmatazz. We're not hearing from his agent every 5 minutes. We're not hearing from the press. Bigging him up. Him in the press. Sort of bigging him up. He's not doing adverts for Gucci or Louis Vuitton or whoever it might be. It's all. I put it in a similar sort of range, maybe N'Golo Conte. Outstanding player that just goes about his business and just enjoys playing football, enjoys doing what he does, doesn't necessarily want everything else that goes with that, and doesn't court the media in that way. You think of what Conte's achieved, as a player. You never hear from him. You never see him, buying flash cars or in nightclubs or doing this. And I think Son's maybe very, very similar. And because of that, obviously in this world that we live in of social media and attention and everything else, because they don't court that, sometimes these players go a little bit under the radar.
So people believe in the hype, the BS, rather than actually what's going on.
Of course they do.
Which is
yeah. Well, because if you get told something often enough, you start to believe it. Simple as that. And if you keep hyping people up, how many people have actually sort of really seen these players day in, day out in training or day in, day out, in matches all the time? Not that many. So if you keep getting told, oh, he's amazing, he's fantastic, oh, he's on this advert, look at him doing this, look at his highlights reel, look at the clips, look at this, it also got, wow, what a player. He must be unbelievable. But, Son and N'Golo Kante, players of that ilk, don't seem to want to do that.
Okay. I started off the show by, mentioning that Conte was deemed not a managerial material for Manchester United. But if he had gone in right, and if you'd seen from the past the egos he's had to manage, what would he have changed if he was at United?
He'd have got rid of him. Simple as that. Or they wouldn't be playing. They wouldn't be involved. I think we've seen him do that before. And I think that's what needs to happen if it's going to be Ten Hag that takes over. You've got to have a new broom come in and sweep clean. Get out, 3 or 4 big names, big egos, and give, if it's going to be Ten Hag, the opportunity to start from the beginning and rebuild. Because if you don't do that, you always have this issue of, oh yeah, but Ronaldo's on the bench. Why are you not playing Ronaldo? Why are you not playing this player? Why are you not playing that player? They can score goals. They can do this. Because that's not the long-term plan of the new manager. And I just think at the moment, it's been bad at United for a long time. And they don't want to buy into what the new coach wants to do at the moment. And if they don't do that, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. And that's what's happening at United at the moment.
Okay, just say, for example, if you look at other, I won't mention names or players, but at clubs like perhaps at Chelsea at times, when you see seasoned pros, successful players at the club, then a new manager comes in, he's got his philosophies, these ideas, then these managers, or rather these players don't want to change their ways and match the new style of play. Is that something that's going on in United right now for you?
Definitely, yeah. We've seen it before, players effectively sort of down tools at clubs for managers and not really want to play and do what has made them successful. And I think when you've got big players with big egos, believe that they know just as much as the manager or know how to play and want to play in a certain way, when the manager says, no, I want you to do it this way, and they go, well, you're not going to be here for that long. You're only here till the end of the season. I'm, my contract's longer than yours. I'll outsee you, so I'm not enjoying that. I'm not going to put all the effort in. And I think that's what it comes down to. The manager should be the most powerful man at the football club, have the ability to make those decisions. And that's really, I think that's the problem at United at the moment. They've got a way of playing that the players are going, well, we don't really like that because it's hard work and we don't really want to do it. They're not enjoying it. So therefore, they're not, if you're not enjoying your job, you don't turn up and put, maximum effort in, every single day. and then that starts to show on the pitch. So I think it's very, very simple. United need to get a manager in very, very quickly, give him as much power as he wants, and then if players aren't doing it, you start leaving people out. You get rid of those players and get players in that will do it.
I got into a heated debate with a United fan, and what he was trying to portray was the fact that, and he's a very staunch United fan, yeah. He was saying that what he found was a problem was the fact that the likes of Scott McTominay, Harry Maguire, Wan-Bissaka, at one point in time were given they had to be the first names on that starting 11, even though they weren't the best, and all these other big players came in and see, hey, this guy's quality is not all that there. We've spoken about Scott McTominay's lack of awareness when it comes to positioning on and especially off the ball. Could that also lead into a situation where you see now Bruno Fernandes, Cristiano, and all these big name players, characters, successful players look like them? They're meant to lead. You're using them to lead this team.
Thing is, but if you're a powerful manager and those players aren't performing, it's like, well, if you want to play, you've got to perform. You've got to perform in training, and you've got to perform in matches. And if you're not, but this is the problem that you have at United when you have sort of some really, really good, experienced senior players. The moment you lose a game, they'll be leaking things to their agent, leaking things to the press, and all those, and go, well, why am I not playing? If I'd have played, we'd have won that game. And then you sort of, as a coach, you're always on the back foot. Manchester United's going to have to go through a transitional period, of 18 months, 2 years to get it right. And if they allow the manager to manage and coach in that time, it will come good. Pep Guardiola wasn't great in his first season. Jurgen Klopp wasn't great for his first 2 or 3 seasons. It takes time to build those situations. And obviously, City were building from a much better foundation than what Manchester United are. So you have to give the manager the opportunity to say, right, okay, this is your ideas. These are the players you need to get in. These are the players you need to get out, and allow him to do that.
Or will he be allowed to do it? Will he be allowed to do the managing, whoever it is?
They have to. So when Pep Guardiola came in and he just went, Joe Hart, not having you, gone. Hadn't even seen him play. Hadn't even seen him train. Just went, big character, doesn't play how I want to play, get rid. And that puts a marker down to every other player going, oh, hang on a minute, I'm in trouble, because if I don't perform, I'm out the door. Whereas at United, you think, well, oh yeah, okay, he'll play a little bit. There's no real sort of authority to take charge of those big players.
Conte would have been the perfect answer. You talked about Joe Hart and Pep. It really brought back memories of Iker Casillas and Jose Mourinho. And if you watch football back then, he just got dropped and he was sent off. And you know who's boss at the end of the day. Let's talk about bosses. A former United boss, David Moyes at West Ham. We spoke about illusion and mirrors, and the fact that when somebody talks about you, you're doing well, they think you're doing well. Whereas for West Ham, my personal opinion, I've been enjoying their football, how they've been progressing, but they still don't finish in that top 4, slot, if you know what I mean. Does that lay a marker that they're not progressing?
It's quality of players. West Ham are punching above their weight at the moment. When you look at all the individuals, they probably should be 3 or 4 places lower in the table than they are now.
Really?
They don't. They're not littered with internationals, are they?
Yeah,
when you look at the Tottenham team, the Man United team, the Arsenal team, and you think they could be in 4th or 5th. If they were down in 7th or 8th, you go, well, that's about right. You said at the start of the season, you look at the terms of quality of squads, and you go, well, yeah, if West Ham finish sort of 7th, 8th, that's a really good season for them. The fact they're close to 4th and 5th, the fact they're in the sort of looking to progress in Europa League, they are performing. They're outperforming expectations, I think is the best way to put it, and that's down to hard work, organisation. Did you really think that West Ham would be finishing 5th, either or 4th at the start of the season?
No, but that's my point. It's a team that's progressing.
Well, but they haven't improved their players in that time. They haven't got any better players. If you go player for player around their squad, apart from Declan Rice, there's no, okay, Bowen's doing okay now. There's no superstars in that team. There's no player that you go, oh, he gets in the Spurs team, he gets in the Chelsea team, he gets in the Man City team. So, you look at them player for player and go, and it's a bit like when at Everton, when David Moyes was there for all those years. Very, very similar scenario. He gets the best out of players. He gets more than the best out of players, gets them organised, gets them playing well, gives them confidence. And that's what David Moyes is very, very good at, and that's what he does.
Let's go player for player. It's Man City versus Liverpool. Sorry, I want to laugh. I'm not the teams, but it was deemed the greatest ever Premier League rivalry in the history of Premier League. If you want to laugh, you can go ahead and laugh, Danny. But
it's been what, 3 years?
Yeah, I mean, I cannot believe whoever mentioned that cannot. Maybe because he was playing and he didn't watch all the games and he was more focused on his career than the actual football that was going around in the league. But Arsene Wenger versus Sir Alex Ferguson versus Jose Mourinho, that got really intense team for team
Mourinho
fights.
versus Wenger, Mourinho versus everybody else.
Arsenal were robbed in the Champions League final. That was a dodgy referee, and I don't care what anybody says.
Arsenal, Tottenham back in the day, Liverpool, Everton back. I mean, it's like, greatest. It's fierce at the moment because of where both teams are.
Yeah,
but even Leeds, Man United back in the day, it was vicious. It's not the greatest rivalry. It will get there if this continues for another 5 or 6 years. Then it will have a chance of getting somewhere close to it. But it's been 3 or 4 seasons where it's been really close. That's it.
Yeah.
That doesn't make it the greatest rivalry. So does that mean next year, if Chelsea are really good now for 3 years after this, that becomes the greatest rivalry? So, come on. Again, it's media, isn't it? Hype it up, give it a name, and all of a sudden people start to believe it.
It's like amazing. I remember talking about the Champions League final between what was it? Manchester United and Chelsea, the Champions League final. Those two were the two best teams. Liverpool was there in that semi-final stage as well, along with Barcelona. There was so many things going on at that point in time. So would you define the quality of players right now at City and Liverpool better than United's 2 Champions winning league teams and Arsenal's team of the Invincibles, Chelsea's team as well when they were under Jose Mourinho?
It'd be very, very close. When you look at the 2 strongest 11s that are outstanding at the moment, it's not a million miles off, is it? Even when you look at that first team with Ronnie Johnson, playing in the Champions League, not a renowned sort of world-class player, but was unbelievably effective, within that unit. I think it's very, very difficult to contrast and compare teams of different generations and different eras, different styles of play. But they're all up there. Manchester City clearly still need to go to the next level and win the Champions League. But there's every chance that'll happen sooner rather than later. They're both at the moment, Liverpool and City, it's great competition. They're pushing each other all the way. They're pushing each other to the limits of what they can achieve. And that makes it great to watch, great for the Premier League, great for everybody. But yeah, at the moment, 2 fantastic. But then you go back and look at Mourinho's team that conceded 15 goals. They're always outstanding teams in that. And the team that win the league is generally the team with the best players. Give or take. And this is why these 2 are so close, because they both genuinely have amazing players.
And the one point I'll always say is these 2 teams, City and Liverpool, are currently right now. Barcelona are their weakest. Real Madrid are going through a transition period for me. Bayern Munich, it's not exactly where they were a few years ago. So I think it's such a disrespectful statement to the teams that I watched back in the 90s and 2000s and early on in the 80s. Quick one. City versus Liverpool. Who's going to win? And will United make it into Europe next season?
City win 3-1. Although looking at our banner at the bottom of the screen, they're playing Liverpool. Liverpool. Come on, guys. We're professionals here. I know it's early or late or whatever it is. Come on. I'm working with amateurs. City win 3-1. Manchester United make it into the Europa League. Just.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Danny Mills. Till the next week.